I want you to think about where you were with your 3D work 1 year ago. Now think about where you are today. If the honest answer is not that different, this video is for you. Because the thing that's keeping you stuck, it's probably not what you think it is. It's not your software. It's not your computer. It's not even your talent. It's something you're doing or not doing every single day. And the brutal part is most of it feels completely normal. It feels like progress. Let's talk about it. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the mistakes I see, and honestly, the ones I've made myself that keep 3D artists in the same place for years. Not months, years. Some of these are going to feel obvious once I say them out loud. Others are going to hit a little differently. But all of them are things you can actually do something about, starting today. And I'll tell you right now, there are 5 of them. But number 3 is the one I almost didn't include because it's the one that got me the most pushback when I mentioned it to a few artist friends. I'll tell you exactly what it is. But first, let me tell you about the artist I watched do everything right for 2 years and still go nowhere. There's someone I know, I'm not going to use their name, who has been doing 3D for about 4 years now. Consistent, disciplined, they post work regularly, they finish their pieces, they reply to comments, they study other artists, they watch tutorials. On paper, they're doing everything right, and yet they've been stuck at the same level with the same number of opportunities for almost 2 years straight. And when I finally sat down and looked at their process, not just their work, but how they work, I found something. One pattern, one thing that was quietly canceling out almost everything else they were doing right. I'll tell you what it was. But to get there, I need to start at the beginning, mistake number 1. Tutorial cycling without building anything real. Here's how this one goes. You watch a tutorial. You follow along. It looks great. You feel great. You learn something. And then you watch another tutorial. You follow along. It looks great again. You feel great again. Repeat for 6 months. And then you sit down to make something from scratch, something that isn't guided by someone else's hand. And you freeze. Because you've been borrowing someone else's decisions the entire time. You've never actually had to make your own. This is tutorial cycling. And it's probably the most common way people feel busy while making 0 real progress. The fix isn't to stop watching tutorials. It's to immediately apply whatever you just learned to something you made up yourself. Even if it's ugly, even if it fails. The moment you try to use a skill without a tutorial holding your hand, that's when the skill actually becomes yours. One rule I'd give you: for every tutorial you finish, spend at least the same amount of time building something with what you just learned. No guide, no follow along, just you and the software. That ratio alone will change your trajectory inside 3 months. Mistake 2, polishing instead of progressing. This one is sneaky because it feels like quality control. You finish a piece, or you almost finish it, and instead of moving on, you spend another week tweaking the lighting, adjusting the materials, changing the camera angle, revisiting the topology on something nobody is ever going to see. And the piece gets a tiny bit better. But here's what's actually happening. You're trading the skills you gain from starting something new for incremental improvements to something you've already mostly learned from. The learning curve on any piece of work is steepest at the beginning. By the time you're on day 3 of tweaking the same render, you've already extracted most of what that project had to teach you. Volume builds skill. Repetition builds instinct. And you can't get volume if you're spending 3 weeks on a piece that was done in week 1. Ship it. Move on. The next piece will be better. Not because you polished the last one, but because you made it. Mistake number 3, building a portfolio for other 3D artists. Okay, this is the one I almost cut, because when I said this to some artist friends, 2 of them immediately got defensive. Most 3D artists build their portfolios for other 3D artists. Think about what that actually means. You're choosing your pieces based on what will impress people who understand exactly what you did. The technically complex stuff, the procedural shader that took 40 hours, the topology that's absolutely immaculate, the thing that other artists will look at and go, oh wow, they really know what they're doing. And that feels right. Of course, you want skilled people to appreciate your work. But here's the problem. Other 3D artists are almost never the ones hiring you. Clients hire you. Art directors hire you. Brand managers hire you. studio leads who are 10 years removed from doing technical work themselves hire you. And those people are not looking at your wireframes. They're not inspecting your UV layout. They're looking at your work and asking one question: does this feel like what I need? Which means the most technically impressive piece in your portfolio might be doing absolutely nothing for you commercially. While a simpler, cleaner piece that looks like brand work or product visualization or fashion or whatever niche you're targeting is the one actually making people reach out. Your portfolio isn't a flex for the community. It's a sales tool for the people with the budget. Build it for them. If this is landing, and honestly, if you've been making any of these mistakes, it probably is, hit subscribe, because the next few videos on this channel are going straight at this stuff. No filler, just the things that actually move the needle. Okay, remember the artist I mentioned at the start? The one doing everything right and still going nowhere? This was their thing. Mistake 3. They had a genuinely impressive portfolio. Complex scenes, incredible technical work, stuff that made other artists stop scrolling. But every single piece was aimed at people who would understand the craft. There was nothing in there that looked like client work. Nothing that looked like it belonged in an actual commercial context. Nothing that made a brand or studio think, yes, this person understands our world. So despite 4 years of consistent work, they were getting follows from other artists and silence from the people who could actually pay them. The moment they rebuilt their portfolio around one niche, with pieces that looked like real commercial briefs, their first client inquiry came in within 6 weeks. Same skill level, completely different framing. That's how much this matters. Mistakes 4 and 5 are a bit different from the first 3, because they're not about your work or your portfolio. They're about something most tutorials and YouTube videos will never talk to you about, because it's uncomfortable and it doesn't make for a fun, shareable thumbnail. But in my opinion, these are the 2 that do the most long-term damage. And one of them is something I see even experienced working artists fall into. Let's get into it. Mistake 4. Comparing your process to someone else's output. You see a finished render. It's incredible, photorealistic, perfectly lit, the kind of work that gets 10,000 likes. And you compare it to whatever you're currently working on, mid-process, half-baked, looking nothing like what you imagined. And you feel behind. You feel like you're not good enough. You feel like maybe you're just not cut out for this. Here's what's actually happening. You're comparing your behind the scenes to their highlight reel. They didn't post the 16 failed versions before that render. They didn't post the 3 weeks where everything looked wrong. They didn't post the render that crashed their PC the night before a deadline. You're measuring your real, messy, in-progress life against a curated finished moment. And that comparison will never be fair. It's literally not possible for it to be fair. The only comparison that's useful, the only one that actually tells you something, is you versus you. Where were you 6 months ago? What can you do now that you couldn't do then? That's the line. Everything else is just noise that makes you want to quit. Don't quit. Mistake number 5, waiting until you're ready. And the last one, the one I save for last because it underpins all the others. Waiting until you're ready. Waiting until the portfolio is ready to reach out to clients. Waiting until the skills are better to start posting. Waiting until you understand the software more to take on a paid project. Waiting until you feel confident enough to share your work publicly. Here's what waiting until you're ready actually is. It's fear wearing the costume of professionalism. Because ready is not a destination you arrive at. Ready is a feeling you build by doing the thing you're scared to do, getting imperfect feedback, surviving it, and doing it again. The artists who break through don't do it because they finally felt ready. They do it because they decided that moving scared is better than standing still comfortable. You're closer to ready than you think. The work you have right now is enough to start conversation. The skills you have right now are enough to take on a small project. Not a perfect project, not a dream project, a real project. And real projects build the confidence that waiting never will. Stop waiting. Start sending. So, 5 mistakes. Tutorial cycling without building. Polishing instead of progressing. Building a portfolio for artists instead of clients. Comparing your process to other people's output. And waiting until you're ready. Any one of these can stall you out for months. All 5 at the same time can stall you for years. And most people are dealing with more than one simultaneously without even realizing it. Now, knowing the mistake is step one, but knowing exactly what to do about it in a practical day-to-day sense, that's what the next video is going to be about. I'm putting together a breakdown of the actual habits and daily structures that working 3D artists use to keep moving. Not motivation stuff, not mindset fluff, real practical systems. And honestly, some of it is going to contradict advice you've probably heard before. So make sure you're subscribed because that one is coming soon and it's going to be the companion piece to this video. One last thing, which of these 5 hit closest to home for you? Drop it in the comments. Not because I'm trying to make you feel bad, but because naming it out loud is genuinely the first step to doing something about it. And if someone you know is in this exact place, stuck, grinding, not seeing the results they should be seeing, send them this video. It might be the conversation they needed to have with themselves. Subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and I'll see you in the next one.